It's time to go racing one final time at GRIDLIFE Midwest Festival in 2025. These cars will next race at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course at the end of the month. That race will not be broadcast. Next show will be at the end of July at Road America, the National Park of Speed. Doubled up, 40 cars deep. Tense moments here on the front straightaway. Rookie Blake Korth on the front row on driver's right in that white Porsche Cayman, setting up for turn number 2. We get the green flag at the later stand, remember, so it's going to be a late green. And there it goes, green flag, and we're underway in Eibach GLTC at GingerMan. And a good launch by Eric Meadows down to the inside, but will he be able to clear Blake Korth through that first corner? They're still side by side. Korth pulls ahead.
Yeah, nice and organized there. Everybody's still in the same position. They're still too wide. 20 cars or 20 rows through the field. That's hugely impressive. And yet, but Blake Korth holds on to the lead.
Now down towards 3. It was actually Eric Meadows that had edged ahead of Korth at the start-finish line. You see on the ticker there, but it is the 614 Porsche Cayman that leads. A little smoke in the background and trouble at turn 3. I think there's a car off, and there's a couple of cars off. One shoots right at corner exit and scatters off. So a little Shukla on driver's right. It seems like everyone else has gotten through there, but we carry on at the front of the field.
Yeah, lots of dirt, a big dust cloud from over there. But Blake Korth is checking out of this field. He's got a big lead over Eric Meadows for second, and Tony Marchev is now trying to go up against him.
And trouble on the front straightaway. And Natalie Leto's, her car has got some kind of suspension failure. There's a couple of cars scattered around. You see some damage on Salil Shukla.
You hate to see
this
that.
Is going to bring out a full course yellow almost certainly, because there's a couple of cars around the racetrack that have some damage.
Yeah, Blake Korth has totally checked out of this group. He's up in 10B, and now we've got the waving yellow, and we're going to have a safety car here, but they're giving him as much of the back straight as they can. A green flag racing, and Matan Rosenberg is trying to pass Tony Marchev. I think they know, well, they don't know what's happened behind them, so there's a sense of urgency there. We'll see if Matan can get ahead of Tony before they hit the yellow flag zone on the front straightaway.
Yeah, they're going to give him every chance they can, but those cars aren't going to move as they come out of turn number 11 up onto the front straightaway. Still just covered by locals at the moment. There's the full course as they come across the stripe now. Blake Korth completes lap 1, the leader of the race. So there's Natalie Leto's, and is the right front tire missing off that car as well. Michael Pagano is stopped, and Salil Shukla also has some damage. So for his 3 races perfectly clean, and then pandemonium on the opening lap of this one.
Yeah, unfortunate to see, but Matan backed out of that pass because he saw they were waving yellows at turn 11 as well. So great heads-up driving from Matan to avoid doing a pass under yellow there.
I don't see any damage on this car, but other than the suspension broken, but I don't see any body work really. So they're just
maybe
tires
some wheel
and
banging.
wheels.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel banging that has kind of broken her suspension. Her right side suspension looks like.
Now, what about Michael Pagano? Do we see anything on this car, or did it just come to a stop?
Not from this view.
Again, these might just be mechanicals for these cars. The Natalie Leto's car, I'm shocked to see come apart like it did. Pagano's car looks perfect. So the only car that I know that has bodywork damage is Salil Shukla's car. That was at turn 3, but everyone else seems to have just had parts failures.
Yeah, they're definitely, the field was very bunched up heading to the start finish, as they should be. And then we saw a whole bunch of cars scattering at turn 3 with some dust getting kicked up. Matan kicked up a little bit of dust on his outside tire, and I don't know if that set off some sort of chain reaction from people being afraid of a car going slow there.
Yeah, there was a lot of smoke and debris flying up at turn 3, but the only car I saw come out of that with damage that I could tell was Shukla's car. So I think it was just a lot of, you see the left front bumper there, a little bit tore up.
Yeah, he definitely made contact with something, although it could have been a berm. If he went wide enough, he might have gone into a berm, but that seems unlikely.
Yeah, I think he was sort of center track. I think he might have had contact with someone that he sent off course, because there was someone on left and then he went right. So I think that there was probably some contact there with Shukla. They got a flatbed already for Natalie Leto's, so that car is going to, that car will not roll for sure. So they're probably going to flat tow Pagano's car, and the rescue guys will be hard at work here getting this taken care of, and hopefully get us some green flag racing at the end.
Yeah, Blake Korth, you have to give him credit. He did a fantastic start, super calm. He chose it was the inside line of, outside line of turn 1, and then he had the inside of turn 2. So Meadows got maybe slightly ahead of him at the start finish, but Blake kept his speed around the outside and then maintained overlap through turn 2, got the better drive out of it, and then he started checking out as Meadows was fighting with Marchev and then Rosenberg as well.
Yeah, so dramas here in the opening moments of Eibach GLTC race number 4, but cars have slowed behind the safety car for the moment. And while they're working on flatbedding Natalie Leto's car, looks like Pagano's is about to be hooked up behind a safety truck, and they're also working on some little shoe gloves. So this will be at least a few more minutes and a few more laps, unfortunately. But 3 green races wasn't meant to last the whole day, or the whole weekend, I have to say. But again, Blake Korth, how about the nerves here for this rookie out front? Nice, solid opening lap. I know he'd love to finish this race under green, but clicking off time under yellow keeps him out front and also prevents Eric Magnussen, who didn't make any progress. He's still 8th on that opening lap.
Yeah, Matan is the mover there. He got past Walbaum, which Coutil also got past Walbaum, and he also got past Dana. So a great job by Matan on that opening lap. Interestingly enough, I don't see any cars coming down the pit lane from any damage. So it seems like the only 3 cars that we're going to have to retire here are the 3 that we've seen on stream here.
Yeah, which is, I guess that's good news, right? But there wasn't more involved in it.
Yeah. No, and we don't see any damage to any other cars out there circulating. So, yeah, and it not great to see that incident in turn 3, but at least the attrition rate is minimal.
And it sounds like Cerise Taylor has caught up with one of the drivers that was involved in that incident on the pit lane. Cerise, what you got?
That's actually not true, but thank you. Awesome. Sorry. Hey, guys. All right, so eyes in the sky. You guys saw what happened on track. We have firsthand experience. Want to tell us what happened out there?
Yeah, so Mike just lost fuel pump and then tried to pull over, which was the safe thing to do, but unfortunately the people behind him thought he was still racing.
Yep.
So when they all brake checked up, it just is what it is. I mean, you can't really, he didn't make it to turn 1, so he couldn't pull off. Just is what it is, unfortunately.
This is what happens in motorsports. Unfortunately, we call it collateral damage, and everybody out here is doing the safe thing at least.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to pull off, right? You're on the inside going into 1. There's no real room yet. The car dies. The only thing you can do is move over for him, right?
Yeah, we're all standing here, and all of a sudden we see a bit of action. I was like, all right, I need to get the coverage of this. So anyways, back to you guys.
Thanks, Cerise. And yeah, again, I'm trying to figure out, I mean, we talk about the stack up, but I don't see any body work on Latosa's car. So the suspension I see, so maybe there was some wheel to wheel.
Yeah.
But again, hopefully it's just some suspension arms and it's a pretty quick fix on that car to go to Mid-Ohio, because again, you usually see a stack up like that. It's a lot of front to rear. You see hoods and bumpers and things, but just not a ton of evidence to suggest that there was more than that.
Yeah, and the rest of the field seemed to still be in pretty good shape, because they were 2 wide for, I think, 10 rows back all the way through turn 2. So that was one of the most organized starts that I had seen through turn 1 and 2. So wherever it happened pretty far back in the field. So it looks like we're going to bring the safety car in this lap and go green. I see the green flag being held at start finish, but the lights are still on the safety car, so potentially one more lap to recover Salil's car.
Yeah. They're still going to even try that. They might just pull him to the tree at that point.
Looks like they are. I've been saying we should name that tree like oak tree at VIR. It should be called something else for GingerMan. Yeah, still looking like we're going to do one more lap under safety. Everybody's trying to stay warm, keep their tires warm. And the field is a little bit spread out here, so they're going to be trying to bunch up here before we go green. Hopefully on the next lap, we'll keep an eye on that. The top 10, fairly similar to how they started. Magnussen's still in 8th. Walbaum has moved all the way down to 7th. Coutil has moved 1 spot up into 6th. Dana has lost himself, unfortunately, 2 or 3 positions there. And then Rosenberg in 4th, a great move up for him. Tony Marchev made up 1 position into 3rd. Meadows and Korth both in the position that they started.
Yeah, hopefully just one more lap up behind the safety car. We should get a couple of laps worth of green here and give these drivers one more opportunity to put their cars on display. We talked about all the pride and joy and the efforts that these drivers put into their cars, and how nice the field looks up and down the field with the liveries and the sticker packages and things of the sort. Jackie Ding's A86 Eibach Corolla was on track with Matan Rosenberg and Eric Coutil, sort of representing Eibach in some roller pictures that were posted on Instagram last night. And just the level of detail and the attention to detail on these builds throughout the field is just impressive and incredible, and just really cool to see. But you always like to see them racing and not following a safety car. But we should be wrapping up here pretty shortly. Things look pretty clean. Nice work by the rescue guys. There was a lot of cars to go pick up there, wasn't there, Ito? So
yeah,
some chaos on the start. Things are looking good.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting some green flag racing. I think we were set up for a really great race, although Blake Korth looked like he was starting to check out and trying to create a gap to those behind him, because I think he knows that once Coutil, Rosenberg, Magnussen, once they get through the field, they're going to catch him up. They've had the best pace all weekend, so he's going to try and grow that gap as much as he can and make the room to see if he can run away for the win.
All right, I don't see anything else going on, so I'm hoping. And look at that, lights are out on the safety car. So next time by, we are going back green. We'll get a couple of laps worth of racing, provided we keep it nice and tidy here, boys and girls, from here on out. Blake Korth, rookie here in Eibach GLTC, his first race weekend on the invert, out in front of Eric Meadows, Tony Marchev. Those three drivers have never won a race. Matan Rosenberg has won 4 this year. One at Carolina Motorsports Park, 3 at Road Atlanta. Dana Basinski has never won. Coutil has won races and championships. Matt Walbaum has won a handful of races. Magnussen has added to his win total this weekend, 3 in the first 3 races. Lena Chin has won a B race at Lime Rock Park. And Gary Wimble has also been chasing a race win here in Eibach GLTC for some time. So lots left to decide here in the final moments of Eibach GLTC at GingerMan Raceway, GRIDLIFE Midwest Festival, the biggest stage in grassroots racing. Here they come out of turn number 11. Up onto the front straight. Blake Korth stays on driver's left, waiting for the green flag to fly. There it goes. We're back underway at GingerMan Raceway. A nice launch and a push. Here comes Tony Marchev to the outside of Meadows. He was not going to wait for a launch to second place. Side by side for P2 and for P5, Basinski and Coutil.
Matan is trying to establish overlap on Marchev as well. He's going to try and take the outside line through turn 2, and then he's going to try and chase after Meadows, who was caught sleeping, caught sleeping at the start a little bit.
Yeah, Matan Rosenberg on the charge, moving up the order here. Could he pick the pocket, steal it from a rookie, steal it from a driver? Eric Meadows, who has been trying for years to win a race in Eibach GLTC. And here comes Coutil, chasing his championship rival, Matan Rosenberg, there in the hybrid racing EG. Dust kicked up as Rosenberg takes third.
And now Coutil's on the inside of Marchev into 5, gets the pass done. Dana also wants a piece of it. We'll see if he can make his way up through to into turn 7. Matan has gotten his way into 3rd. Coutil right behind him.
Jonathan Lugod is pulled off, leaving turn 3. He's safely onto the inside of the racetrack, so he should be able to stay green. We might not even need a yellow covering that corner. That should keep us going for now. All the while, Matan Rosenberg closing in on 2nd place, and Blake Korth and Eric Meadows are going to be craving a white flag sooner than later, because the pressure is mounting from the reigning series champion in 3rd place.
Yeah, and Blake hasn't been able to open that gap like he did on the first lap. He looks like he broke a little bit too late into 10B, and Meadows was right, trying to establish overlap on the inside, didn't quite make it.
Here comes Meadows out of 10B, pulls up underneath Blake Korth. It'll be a drag race between the Porsche Cayman and the Corvette, but here comes Matan Rosenberg as well. Is he going to take him 3 across? No, he's going to be patient and wait. Korth drops to 2nd place, tries the outside. Here's Rosenberg on the brakes into 11.
Yeah, I wonder what's happened to Korth. He looks like he's lost a lot of pace going from 9 to 10B and through 10B, and now he's getting freight trained down the front straight by Coutil and Rosenberg.
Yeah, Meadows takes the lead. Rosenberg to 2nd. Coutil side by side with Korth now for 3rd place. And Eric Coutil would love to win a race here in race 4 and continue to solidify his place as the championship leader. He's through. Marchev now has Dana Basinski all behind him, and Korth is losing pace here just a little bit. I'm not sure if there's something going on, if there's a heating issue, but it seems like he's struggling a bit now. The local yellow at turn 3, no passing down here.
Yeah, fortunately, turn 4 is not a huge passing opportunity, so that shouldn't affect the racing too much. We'll see how much Meadows holds back Matan, because Eric needs that in order to have a chance at passing Matan later in this race.
Yeah, Korth going defensive there. It's going to hold Tony Marchev up just a little bit. Dana Basinski trying to find a way around this battle for P4 now, as they make their way up the hill towards turn 7. Battles elsewhere in the field as well. Ayrton Grimm trying to make a move on Joe Tulo, but here's the battle for the top spot. Meadows is a little wide. Here comes Rosenberg tucking in the inside, but can't get the overlap, and this will let Coutil close in.
Yeah, Meadows was trying to take a later turn in into 8, which opened the door for Matan, but then Matan kind of took too shallow of an angle and lost speed through 8 and 9, which gives Eric Coutil an advantage. He's going to try the outside heading into 10B.
Yeah, Coutil has got overlap now on Rosenberg on the outside, probably the wrong side of the road, but we've seen these two cars so evenly matched, even on the straightaways here with this rule set, balancing these two cars in second and third. They're 1,000 pounds and 70 horsepower apart, but an even race up the backstretch. Whichever one of these two wins this fight might have a chance to win this race.
Well, Meadows gave Coutil the draft there, but Matan got him under braking as Coutil's going to try and over-under him and see if he can create overlap into turn one.
White flag, last lap around. Eric Meadows has the advantage. Can he hang on to win his first ever Eibach GLTC race? The two championship rivals running second and third. Korth on defense from Dana Basinski and Tony Marchev behind.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while we're talking about this, Magnussen is still in 7th place. He didn't go with these three up into the front, so we'll see what that does to the weekend championship.
And Jackie Ding's up to 10th place in that A86 Corolla. How'd he get up there? That's an impressive drive. Eric Meadows feeling the pressure here. He's never won an Eibach GLTC race. Best finishes second, and there's parts and debris that just popped out from behind the curbing there. But looking good down the backstretch towards turn 5.
Yeah, he just has to have a nice, clean third sector of this track, and he's going to get his first win, so all eyes on Gary Wimble right now.
Yeah, here comes Rosenberg, looking driver's left now towards turn 7.
Eric Meadows, excuse me.
Up to 7. Half a car length between them, and Coutil is going to be waiting to pick the pocket here. Big move from Jensen on Giraldo and Sam Scott into turn 5. Dan Precourt's pulled off driver's right on the front straight. No issue there. We'll continue for the battle for the lead, and Rosenberg's going to have a look into 10B, but here comes Coutil for second place. Rosenberg's off the track.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bit held up by Meadows through 8-9, but there was nothing undue about what Meadows did. He just didn't quite have the pace that I think Matan expected, and he had to ditch out of it on the outside.
Now it's Eric Coutil behind Eric Meadows. Rosenberg dropped the tire on driver's right, almost lost control, but he hangs on to third place. Up the back straightaway for the final time. Eric Meadows has been a subscriber to Eibach GLTC since the opening season back in 2019. A couple different platforms over the years, but this Corvette, this number 3, are going to come out at turn number 11 for the first time in his career. Eric Meadows wins an Eibach GLTC race, and it's race 4 at Midwest Festival. Eric Coutil picks up second place. Matan Rosenberg in third, then it's Marchev, Basinski, Magnussen. Where'd Korth go? Down the field a little ways. I don't know that he's 7th. Good. That's good news. Jackie Ding lost a couple spots, finishes in 12th. And Ayrton Grimm battling Louis Chatroop back to the line.
Yeah, critically, Magnussen has made his way up to 6th, while Coutil made his way up to 2nd. So that's probably not enough of a points gap to give the weekend event to Coutil. But nonetheless, a great race from Eric Meadows. He deserved that win. Congratulations on your first GLTC win.
It is so hard to win an Eibach GLTC race. Here's a look at the race results in just a moment, because this is a graphic you want to be a part of. Eric Meadows gets it done. Eric Coutil 6/10 back on that climb through the field from 7th on the grid. Matan Rosenberg, Marchev, Basinski, your top 5. Blake Korth, best finish of the weekend, 7th. Wimble, Walbaum, Chin, your top 10.
Yeah, and then in 11th, we have Robert Thornton. In 12th, Jackie Dean, who lost 2 spots on that last lap, was in the top 10 briefly. Joel Morrison in 13th. Carlos Mendez in 14th. Eric De La Riva in 15th. Jack Wishmeyer in 16th. Cathers in 17th. 18th, Peter Zhang. And in 19th, Kyle Hale. And in 20th, Joe Tulo.
And looking down the rest of the order, Jim Smith-Aline in the 130 comes home 21st. Ayrton Grimm up to 23rd place again from fairly deep in the field in the number 2. Sam Scott, Daniel Giraldo, I don't think we saw him yesterday, had some things to fix. 25th spot for him. Eric Jensen down in 29th. Ty Wynn in 30th place here, Ito.
Again, in 31st, a couple laps down. Dan Precourt in 32nd. Jonathan Lugot, who pulled off to the side before turn 4. In 33rd, Andy Smedgard, who pulled up after that first lap. And then Salil Shukla, Michael Pagano, Seth Gale, and Natalie Latoes unfortunately didn't make the end of the first lap.
Yeah, now I don't know what happened to Seth Gale, but we did see what happened to Latoes, Pagano, and Shukla. And again, Smedegard also had pulled off the course there. But Eibach GLTC Race 4, that was a blast. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from that race as well. Eibach GLTC Race 4 from Midwest Festival. Blake Korth on the front row alongside Eric Meadows. In the background, you're going to see a little bit of smoke and drama because there was a fueling issue for the 155, caused some chaos on the opening lap. There, as you see, that car stalled. Natalie Latoes had a suspension issue, and Salil Shukla off track as well. But on the restart, only a couple of laps to go. Big moves into turn 1, and it was the 614 of Korth that led the way while Coutil passed Marchev on his charge forward.
Yeah, and then he seemed to have a real big drop in pace in that second half of the first lap under green, and that caused him to fall back through the field, which started with Meadows and Rosenberg passing him, and then followed by Coutil down into turn 1.
Yeah, then Coutil and Rosenberg, this classic backstretch battle. This time it was for second, though, not for the top spot. White flag waving. Eric Meadows had 2 championship contenders in his rear view. Matan Rosenberg tried to ride the rim, but stepped over the edge and dropped tires in the dirt. And Eric Coutil was a runner-up to Eric Meadows' first ever Eibach GLTC race win. Eibach GRIDLIFE Touring Cup race number 4, a thriller, and the tail end of the weekend for Eibach GLTC. I believe it will be Eric Magnuson winning the weekend here from Midwest Festival. Not only his first race wins, but his first weekend win as well, heading to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.